Okay, I'll do some brief introductions. Some people are still joining, but it's 9:35, so we may as well get started and they can filter in. So my name is Parthasawa. I'm the president of Monavista's Model UN team, and we're excited to co-host this mock with Lindbrook. Unfortunately, Lindbrook's president doesn't appear to be here yet, but we do have our two wonderful chairs, Abhinav from Lindbrook and Frank from Homestead. You can see them with the chair in their nicknames. The process of the way the mock is going to work is going to be pretty simple. We're going to be using Discord for mainly unmods and notes, and we're going to be relying on Zooms for moderated caucuses and announcements and voting block. We're hoping to get started sometime within the at 9:45 or maybe a bit later with actual committee. We still have some people joining right now, so I just want to wait and give them a chance to fully join. But in the meantime, I think, Frank, if you want to go ahead and get started with roll call before we get into committee or anything, that would be good.
Yeah,
has everyone changed their name to their country? That would be good. Like country and maybe just like your first name, so it's easy to reference or something.
So you want us to put our first name also in our name?
Actually, I don't think we need to do that. We can just keep your country name.
Yeah, okay. Just country name is fine. Is there a Brazil?
Oh yeah. Roll call now or wait and do it a bit later?
Let me just check really quickly. I do want to go over procedure before we actually get started with committee. So maybe now just do a rough attendance. Nothing like no present or voting. Just do a rough attendance and find out who we have so we know who we're waiting for.
Okay.
And maybe just instead of doing it like call out, that'll be too long. Just take a look at the participant list on the side and just cross people off.
Yeah. Okay.
We can do call out once we have everything ready.
Yeah, if you could help Frank with just seeing who we have, that'd be awesome.
Sounds good.
Garrick, could you change your name to your country names just so that? Oh yeah, awesome. Is there anyone else? No, I think we're all good otherwise. So we'll just wait on the last few people. Oh yeah, and also if you guys do have friends from your school who are supposed to be here but might not have gotten the Zoom link or missed it, it'd be awesome if you could send them the Zoom link so they join on time.
Yeah, so we're missing about 10-ish people, so we'll wait for them to start in maybe like 5 minutes.
Yeah, at 9:40, Amy, if you could put the Discord link in the chat, that'd be awesome. And also, everyone, it's gonna for conference norms, it's gonna be mandatory to keep your camera on. So let's all just go ahead and get that started right now because we want to be respectful of everyone and everyone's time. So let's just keep our camera on.
Yeah, so before we start, I think Frank and I would like to set our expectations for this committee. So we know this is a novice conference. A lot of you are new here, so we're not going to be bringing the hammer down on you on procedure and stuff like that. We're going to ease you guys into the rhythm. I know for a lot of, even for people who haven't done conferences, it's your first time doing a virtual conference. So we're going to be gentle with you guys going through the process, the first couple on mods. But as we move into the second, third hour, we're going to start wanting to see some more professionalism, getting you guys to wrap up your speeches on time and being professional on the Zoom. Actually, professionalism, you guys should not be messing around, no joking. Keep it nice. And for procedural stuff, we'll cut you some slack in the beginning and then we'll start bringing the hammer down later.
And so, as you may have seen, we're just getting sorry, Amy just sent the Discord link, so everyone can go ahead and join that. And in that, you should be able to see the code of conduct and the schedule. And yeah, that's the main things you need to take a look at. So
And change your nickname to your country name.
right, yeah, change your nickname on the Discord too. So if everyone can go ahead and do that, that would be awesome.
How do you change your name on Discord?
I think you can if you click on your name in the Discord.
No, I think it's
participants.
easier. If you go to the top left, and it's going to say like LHS virtual mock dash August, and then there's like a down arrow. So if you click the down arrow, near the bottom there's a change nickname. So just change your nickname there.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, let me just even do some of. Wait. So yeah, let's just keep talking on the Discord to a minimum right now, and once committee gets started, obviously, we'll set the expectations for Discord, and maybe just to get this out of the way, don't do anything dumb on the Discord. No cyberbullying or anything, guys. Like we're all high schoolers. We don't need to do this. Someone's still joining, I think. So if you're just joining, it'd be awesome. Oh, did they leave? No, they're still here. Okay, yeah, if you're just joining, it'd be awesome if you could rename yourself to your country name and join the Discord link. If Amy, if you could send that again in the chat, that'd be awesome. So we're just getting started with the conference and waiting on a few more people. Frank and Amina, how many people are still missing? Frank?
Up to about 12 people missing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
I'm going to check for the
Wait,
ones.
is South Korea here? I just want to know if that's.
We should have 40 kids, delegates, and we're right now at about 29.
Okay. So yeah, I think almost everyone's changed their nickname on the Discord. If you haven't, go and do that. Is there anyone who's on the Discord or is on the Zoom and not on the Discord? How many people?
Raise your hand in the chat if you're not.
Or yeah, wait.
Also, one quick thing. So for our motions and stuff, and we're going to be having you guys raise your hands in the chat. Just to do that, you go to participants, and then you click on yourself, and then you click raise your hand. So that's what we're going to be doing for everything from voting to motions. Yeah. So it's participants, then raise hand.
Is the Gambia here? Yeah, sure. 1 sec. Amy, could you send the Discord link to everyone again? And everyone in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, awesome.
Okay.
And guys, just the last few people, like Japan, Kazakhstan, Austria, Croatia, if you could all turn your video on, that'd be awesome.
So we're at about 30 participants right now. That is 75% of our expected committee size.
Oh, that's fine. Some people are
That's
obviously
fine.
going to drop off, so
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I think everyone has their video on. Croatia, if you could turn your video on, that'd be awesome.
Camera
Oh, okay.
issues. Okay.
Oh, that's
Just,
fine.
yeah. When you can, just fix it up.
So, I guess without waiting any longer, we'll go ahead and get started with the rules and procedures of the committee, and then once the committee starts at around 10, I think, or something, we'll do a formal roll call with present, and voting. And essentially, I'm just going to let your chairs take it away from here. If you have any questions, you can just drop it in the chat or PM any one of me, Frank, or Abhinav, and I'm sure one of us will get to you, probably the one who isn't speaking. But yeah, so if you guys want to go ahead, the expected procedure, right? Go ahead and go over the expected procedure and maybe just quickly over the code of conduct and schedule. Now'd be the time to do it, but the floor is yours.
Okay.
Argentina.
Oh,
Wait, no, we're not.
Wait, you're doing roll call?
No,
No, not yet.
Let's do roll call later. Let's.
Yeah, my bad.
Okay, yeah, we'll do expectations. So the background guide was sent out earlier this week, which means that we don't really expect you guys to know everything about the topic, because I don't know everything about the topic. I'll just be straightforward. And that's part of why it was sent last week. So in terms of how procedure is going to work, could you raise your hand in Zoom through the participants area if this is your first conference? It's a mock, but like, if this is your first one. Okay. 2 people. Okay. Cool, you can lower your hands. Well then, for everybody who's returning, and I'll come back to the new stuff. For everybody who's returning, this is where we are going to do our moderated caucuses through Zoom. And there's going to be a lot of raising and lowering your hand, because that is the easiest way for us to be able to see, okay, who wants to talk when. And that'll be for like suggesting motions, being on the speakers list, all that stuff. Discord will only be used for unmoderated caucuses. So we on Zoom will share a timer, and that'll be saying how long do you have for the unmod, and then you'll go into Discord and notice that we have 10 voice channels and text channels. And we recommend that if you are in voice channel 5 and you wanted to write something to the people in that same voice channel, then go to text channel 5. Go figure. Okay, so I think that's like pretty brief.
Yeah.
There's like guaranteed you're gonna have questions. So, I don't know, Abhinav, do you want to talk about just like the new, for people who are new, do you want to describe things or?
Yeah, so what's going to happen is, we've already done a couple of practice sessions that have attended. What's going to happen is after roll call, we are going to open debate. And then from there, we're going to move on to speakers list, where you guys will present your country's position on the topic. And then from there, we'll move into a bunch of moderated caucuses where you guys discuss your views and opinions and challenge other people's opinions on specific subtopics. And then you'll move into unmods and on the Discord channel where you can talk to other people, form groups, start writing resolutions, sharing ideas. Then once we have resolutions done, we start voting on them. It's pretty straightforward. Just one thing, so it's like, I know in a regular in-person committee, there'd be a lot of note passing. So don't feel like you're not allowed to text people on Zoom or text people on the Discord chat during a mod caucus, because that's an important way to communicate and get stuff done in committee. Like I said earlier, again, we're going to be a little lax on the procedure in the beginning. As we move in and you guys get comfortable, we're gonna hope that you guys start tightening things up, getting everything in order. Are you guys ready to do attendance now?
Do we want to start roll call? Okay.
Yeah, we can do roll call.
Let's wait off a few seconds, guys. I think we have someone who might just be joining the PM me, so let's just wait a few seconds.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, I will. Is this person new to MUN, or have they been doing?
Well, they're two. I'm really. Okay, this is both of them just joined.
Okay, great. So to those of you just joined, please change your name to your country name and join the Discord. The link is in the Zoom chat.
No,
And it'll
Amy's
be-
gonna have to send it again, I think.
Yeah, you gotta send it. Yeah, Amy can send the Discord link again, and you'll be using Discord for your unmods in case you haven't checked. And the code of conduct and stuff is all in the Discord as well.
So do we move into
But
taking
I think we should.
Okay, I'll explain what attendance is, and that'll give us like a couple more
Yeah,
minutes.
that'd be awesome. Go ahead and do
So
that.
attendance, straightforward. It's just like school, except slightly different. I'm so good at explaining stuff. So there are two options if you are here. There is present and there is present and voting. Present means that I am here, I am in the room, and I might vote. And it means that like when you're given an option, you can vote for, against, or abstain. If you are present and voting, that's more like an I'm in the room, and you only get the choices between voting for or voting against. So if this is your first,
just to add on to what Frank said, just real quickly, for motions and stuff like motion to enter debate and whatnot, everyone has to vote. Your option to abstain by not saying present or voting only comes when we're debating resolutions. All other motions, everyone votes. Yeah, but if it's your first time, like Frank was saying, just stick with present. Don't need to get too complicated.
well, no, I would say if this is your first time, you should vote. So like,
It's up to you, really. It doesn't hurt either
it's
way.
only one topic, and it's all about the Uyghur crisis, it's the crisis. I think each country would have a stance on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so just before you guys go ahead and get started, I do want to take care of some procedural stuff. Kazakhstan, Gambia, and Croatia, and if you could turn your cameras on, that'd be awesome. And United States, I think your camera might be having some issues. I just saw some participants might find, and I don't know, some green screen issues, but if you could just fix that, that'd be awesome.
Okay. So when we call your name, please state present or present in voting. Argentina.
First of all, does anyone have questions about anything they just explained? Because I know it can be confusing on your first time. So I'd like to give them the opportunity to ask a question first.
Sure. Raise your hand in the chat if you have any questions. We'll call on you. Brazil, A.
Do we have to raise our hand while responding to the roll call?
No, roll call is going to be voice. All other votes will be on raising your hand. Okay. Yeah. Anything else?
Good question.
Okay, I guess now we're finally ready to move into roll call. Argentina. Is Argentina in the chat? I don't think so. Austria?
Argentina's not here, yeah. Present and voting.
Austria's present and voting. Azerbaijan?
Present.
Present.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay, yeah.
I got it.
Give us 1 second, please. Belize. Belize.
Oh, sorry, I am here. Present.
Present or
and
present
voting.
voting? Okay. Belize is present and voting?
I said present and voting.
Yeah, I know. Present voting. Brazil.
Present and voting.
Present voting. Burkina Faso.
Present.
Okay. Central African Republic.
Present.
Thank you. Did we skip Canada?
Yes, we did skip Canada.
My bad. Canada.
Present.
So Canada's present, and so is Central African Republic. Chile.
Present.
Thank you. China.
Present.
Thank you. Colombia. Colombia. Colombia is not here. Croatia,
Present.
Democratic Republic of the Congo,
Present.
Federated States of Micronesia,
Present.
thank you. France, France is not here, I'm assuming. Georgia, Georgia is not here, I believe. Germany, not here. Guatemala,
Present.
thank you. India, India is not here. Iran,
Present and voting.
thank you. Iraq,
Present and voting.
thank you. Japan,
Present and voting.
thank you. Kazakhstan,
Present.
thank you. Mauritius, Mauritius,
Present.
thank you. Give me 1 second. Moldova,
Present.
Morocco,
Present and voting.
thank you. Apologies, my computer's dying a little bit. Pakistan,
Present and voting.
thank you. Give me 1 second. Pakistan's president voting. Is North Korea here?
Present.
Thank you. Nepal? Not here, I guess. Myanmar? Not here. Russia? Russia is not here. Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia?
Present and voting.
Thank you. South Korea? South Korea is not here from what I can see. Swaziland?
Present.
Thank you. 1 second. Thailand?
Present.
Thank you. The Gambia? Gambia? You have to unmute yourself, Gambia. Okay, the Gambia is in the Zoom, but not responding.
Oh,
so
sorry. Present.
yeah, thank you. The Holy See.
Present.
Thank you. Turkey. Turkey is not here. The United States.
Present and voting.
Thank you. Uzbekistan.
Present.
Thank you. Okay, so that is it for roll call. I'm going to share my screen. You can see the motions document and the timer for your speeches. So Frank, how many delegates do we have right now?
We have 29.
29, okay. So that means 1/3 of 29 is, I'm going to calculate it in a second.
It's going to be 10,
10, thank you.
and majority is going to be 15.
15, okay. These are just reminders for you guys. Okay. With that, are there any, so I guess we can start committee now. Are there any points or motions on the floor?
Oh, wait, Abhinav and Frank, do you want to maybe go over the general
Yeah.
how the committee is going to flow?
Yeah, so what's going to happen is, the first motion I'm hoping for right now is a motion to open debate. Once we open debate, then we'll be going into speakers list. Remember, your motions for speakers list must include the time of each speech and whether or not comments will be allowed and how many comments, if that. After we do a couple of speakers list speeches, we'll move on to moderated caucuses, and mods are going to be specific small speeches on smaller subtopics. When you're motioning for a mod caucus, you mention the time, the duration of the caucus, the time each speaker is given, and the topic. This is all fairly straightforward stuff. After a couple of those, we'll move into unmods, which will be held on the Discord channel. And again, for those, you just need to mention how long the unmod is going to be. We'll keep cycling through mods and unmods until we get some working papers that are sent to us. And then from there, we get into presenting resolutions and then voting block. If you have any questions about this, please raise your hand.
And don't worry if you forgot or missed any of it. I'm sure at the start of every new procedural block, they'll go ahead and explain it again. So, Morocco, we're not taking motions just yet. Usually wait to raise your hand. Oh, actually, okay. Yeah, if you do have any questions, just raise your hand at any time, because we do have also points. Like you can just raise your hand for a point of inquiry, which just means a question.
And one quick thing, I know that some of the countries present here are technically not voting states. For the purposes of this committee, all delegates will have voting privileges. Okay. So with that,
Brazil has a point of inquiry, I think.
Brazil, go ahead.
Frank, can you check your messages?
Okay, let's try to keep the Zoom chat more professional in the future. Thank you.
Oh, I had a question, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I didn't want to just.
And I didn't respond to your question.
Oh, I didn't want to just start. Okay. So I have a partner in this delegation, so I was wondering whether we should just designate one person to raise their hand to represent our.
Yeah, Brazil, A or B. I'm just gonna count both as Brazil. Okay. Yeah.
I did answer your question.
Okay.
All right.
Let's move on. Brazil, if you could lower your hand, let's move on. Okay. So let's get started with the committee. Are there any points or motions on the floor? Croatia?
Motion to open debate.
Second spell. Yeah, that is in order. I'm not taking any more motions. All those in favor of Croatia's motion to open debate, please raise your hand. I expect this to be a unanimous vote. Yeah.
All right, guys, we only have 20 participants raising hands, so I want to see at least 30 on a motion to open
I'm
debate.
going to go chair's discretion on this if it doesn't pass. Okay.
Frank, someone just joined, by the way, so if you can send the Discord link and just the few important points to the chat again, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think we need to count this. Chair's discretion. This motion passes. Congratulations. Okay. Let me just wait. All right. With that, are there any points or motions on the floor? Please raise your hand in the chat. United States? United States?
Motion for a speakers list with 1 minute speaking time.
Will you be allowing comments on this?
Yeah, no.
No comments?
Yeah.
Any other points or motions? China?
My bad.
Okay. Central African Republic? Central African Republic? Okay, Canada? DPRK?
Hey, Abhinav, let's maybe give them a little bit more time to unmute.
Yeah, okay. After each vote, could you make sure to lower everybody's hand?
Yeah.
Some people, yeah. Okay, so we're going to lower all hands. Actually, let's just lower all hands right now. We'll take the next motion. Just lower all hands.
Wait, how do I even lower all hands?
You just go to participants. Okay, now, are there any points or motions on the floor? Please raise your hand. Iran.
Motion to open speakers list, 1 minute, 10 second each with 2 comments.
I'm going to rule 1 minute, 10 second dilatory. You're going to keep it either 1 or 1:30.
1 minute.
And 2 comments?
Yes.
Okay, and these comments will be 30 seconds by chair's discretion.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other points or motions on the floor? I'll be taking one more. Iran, if you could lower your hand. Okay, seeing none, we will now vote on these from most to least disruptive. That's like in order of length. So all those in favor of the United States' motion for a speakers list, 1 minute and no comments, please raise your hands. Just a reminder that majority is 15 here.
All right, I hate to be a nitpick and parliamentarian, but Iran's motion is more disruptive, so we're going to be voting on Iran's motion
My
first.
apologies. Okay. Lower your hands, everybody. I thought it's length and then order received. Okay. All those in, okay, so Micronesia, could you lower your hand, please? Okay, all those in favor of Iran's motion for a speakers list, 1 minute, 2 comments, please raise your hand. Frank and Parth will be counting.
I think that's 7 participants. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay. Lower your hands, all those opposed. We're doing this to make sure, lower your hands if you voted yes. All those opposed, please raise your hands. We're doing this to make sure that everybody's voting in these procedural votes.
That seems to be 17 no. We're missing a few votes, and because I just want to set the standard now, we're going to be voting again all the way from yes. If guys, voting is mandatory on all procedural matters, so let's start that now.
Yeah. Okay, so everyone lower your hands. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Okay, that's 7 delegates. Or
Seven
wait, guys, keep your hands raised until I say you can put them down. It's changing from 7 to 10.
Yeah.
I counted 8.
Counted 8.
Awesome.
Okay. That's 8 in favor. I'm going to lower all hands. All those opposed to Iran's motion for a speakers list, 1 minute, 2 comments, please raise your hands. Is this unanimous voting? No.
I count 17.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just have to go with it.
The motion
this motion
failed.
Fails. All in favor of the United States' motion for a speakers list with 1 minute speaking time and no comments, please raise your hands. Whoa.
That's over 15.
That's over 15. Okay. This motion passes. Okay. United States, would you like to go first or last on the speakers list?
First.
First. Okay. I'm going to lower all hands. Please raise your hand if you'd like to be added to the speakers list. Austria, please lower your hand when I call your name. Iran, Iraq, Brazil, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, DPRK, Morocco. I think that's it. Okay. I'm going to lower all hands just to, Thailand. Okay. I'm lowering all hands. We will now be entering speakers list. 1 second. Okay. United States, you have the floor for a minute whenever you're ready.
China's abuse of the Uyghurs is astonishing. They have been abusing these Uyghurs in Xinjiang, and evidence has come out that possibly millions of Uyghurs are imprisoned. We cannot allow, as the UN, for a whole ethnic group to be imprisoned just because of their religion. No matter what country it is, and no matter what ideology it follows, something like this must be stopped immediately. This is the sort of act that the UN was created to stop. If the UN cannot stop this, it is an utter failure of everything we have created it for. We need to stop this persecution of an ethnic group just because of their ethnicity. That is basically what the UN was created to stop after World War II. And this is almost just as bad. People are reporting torture. And so we need to step in and prevent this abuse.
Thank you, Delegate. Next, we have Austria. Austria, you have the floor whenever you're ready.
Fellow delegates, the delegation of Austria sees the persecution of these Muslims are an integral part to the UN's mission to stop such abuses. However, we see in the region that these Muslims have committed extremism, and the delegation of Austria believes that Islamic extremism is not an ideal. It's not an ideal event to have, but putting 1 million people in concentration camps is also not the solution that Austria wants to see. Moreover, it is almost impossible to delegate China to understand the importance of their actions and to understand their consequences of their action, because they have refused in the past. They have refused to comply with UN terms. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Iran, you have the floor.
Thank you. The delegation of Iran believes that the General Assembly need to understand the security concerns in Xinjiang and assist China in anti-terrorism efforts so they will have less incentive for establishing the vocational training centers. Xinjiang borders Afghanistan, a country known to have high levels of terrorism. From July to December of 2014, Turkestan Islamic Party, a group known to have links to Al-Qaeda, carried out attacks that resulted in the deaths of over 183 civilians. Any sensible government will not tolerate terrorist organizations and activities within its borders. Therefore, Iran proposes that the Security Council organizes, and China accepts, international assistance for anti-terrorism inside and in regions around Xinjiang. Iran proposes that the General Assembly recommend countries with major surveillance operations, such as the United States, to offer China any information they have on terrorism in and around Xinjiang. Only through relieving the terrorism issues in Xinjiang can China sensibly consider removing the controversial vocational training centers. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Iraq, you have the floor.
The United Nations describe basic human rights as, quote, rights inherent to all human beings regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, religion, or any other status. Human rights include the rights to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, and everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination. The nation of Iraq believes that our Muslim brothers and sisters be freed from the torture they are receiving in these internment camps, as it is an attack on their basic human rights. We urge the Chinese government to admit to the repression and abuse of Uyghur Muslims. Though we understand that it might be hard to admit to something of this distressing nature, we urge the Chinese government to look at Uyghur Muslims as citizens rather than terrorist threats. It is important to note that Uyghurs have been part of China's history longer than China has declared themselves a communist country, so it would not be justifiable to move the Uyghurs from their native land. We also believe that the Chinese government had no right to convey Uyghurs as less than citizens based solely upon religion. We urge other countries as well as to convince China that Uyghurs pose no threat to the country and to release them from these internment camps.
Thank you, Delegate. At this point, the chair will be taking any points or motions. So please raise your hand in the chat, in the participants.
Guys, just for some context, typically we don't go through this full speakers list. And if this is your first conference at one time, we usually, after a few speeches like we have now, we accept other motions, usually a mod
Yeah.
caucus. So that's what
So,
I think the
yeah.
chair would smile upon.
Yeah, we'll be going back to the speakers list if there are no other motions on the floor. But right now, a mod caucus would be the best.
Okay, and just a
Iran?
template for, okay, how to motion just before everyone goes. If you want a motion for mod caucus, you say motion for an X minute moderated caucus with Y speeches and with the Z topic. So you have to make sure that the number of speeches evenly goes in the total time. So it's like motion for a 6 minute moderated caucus with 30-second speaking time on the topic of what I had for breakfast, but obviously something related to the real topic.
Yeah. Okay, Iran, go ahead.
Motion for a 6-minute moderated caucus with 30-second speaking time on the security concerns and anti-terrorism in Xinjiang.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. United States? United States?
Yeah, a 7-minute, 30-second on the morality or lack thereof of the internment camps.
Are there any points of motions on the floor at this time? Seeing none, we will now be voting on these two motions. All those in favor of the United States is 730 on the morality of internment camps, please raise your hand. Parth and Frank, you'll be taking.
That's 10.
That's 10 in favor. Okay, I'm going to lower all hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands.
Not at 12, but okay.
At 12, okay. As long as we get around 30, that should be good. Sweet spot. This is for opposed to the United States' motion. Just a reminder, Brazil, vote with only one account. I'm not sure if you're doing that right now, just a reminder.
I believe that's only 11.
It's only 11? Okay, we're going to re-vote on this. We should have 27 to 28. Actually, yeah. Should have 27 to 28 people. All those in favor of the United States is 730 on the morality of internment camps.
I count 13.
On 13?
Counted 14 because there was one that I added at the end.
Okay, 14 in favor of the United States' motion. All those opposed?
That's 10. We're still missing a few votes, guys.
Okay, I think, so it was 13 in favor, 10 opposed? All right.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, so it's, okay, this is, you guys, we need everyone to vote here. It's really, it ruins the fun of the committee if you guys don't vote. Once again, all those in favor of the United States' motion for a 730 on the morality of internment camps, please raise your hand.
Count 14 right now.
14. Okay. This means we should have another. This means it's dead even. We should have 14 opposed. All those opposed to the United States' motion, please raise your hand. It should be a 14-14 split, which would default to a fail.
It's 12, but we're not going to get closer. So let's go for it.
Hang on, wait. So there's, anyway. So it's 14, 12. Okay, then I guess this passes.
I mean, technically it should fail, but yeah, we'll go for
Hang
it.
on, wait. So we have, can we do a quick recount again? So there's 28. There's 4 staff accounts on here.
Yeah,
And
so
then
28.
The second Brazil account is
Oh, okay, so 14 passes. Oh, my bad. Yeah, 14 passes.
okay. Just a quick thing. So that means we have, that's -5. So that's 27 delegates total, actually. And the majority here would be 14, yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so that means Iran's motion for a 630 fails. Okay. The United States, would like to go first or last? I'm lowering all hands.
First.
United States would like to go first. I think we'll be able to take 14 speakers on this one. Austria, you're up next. Please raise your hand if you'd like to go. Austria, lower your hand. Iraq.
Hey, Abhinav, this is a mod caucus. Speeches are taken one by one.
No, it's in a list. It's
in
Thailand. I've always done a list.
Right, yeah, but I think what Parth is saying is that you
Yeah.
do one speech and then call the next speaker.
There's no list. You don't have a set speaker.
Oh, no, I meant it in the list. Okay, whatever. We'll just leave it here.
Okay.
United States. 1 second. Let me just change the timer. Whenever you're ready, United States.
Okay, let's first establish the fact that this internment is illegal. Not only is it illegal by international law, let's also establish the fact that this is immoral. I am aghast at Iran's proposition that countries with surveillance operations should actually fund the Chinese repression of Uyghurs. Okay, first of all, terrorism in the region has mostly receded after these motions have been put in place, and now it is time to prevent them. Therefore, I am establishing that the internment of these camps is illegal and it should not be funded.
Thank you, Delegate. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have Austria.
Hello, delegates. The delegation of Austria believes that the morality of these internment camps is not ideal for the Muslims who are living there. But neither is China's solution in counterterrorism in the region. China has no present terms to comply with any UN regulations, nor it can comply with UNHCR regulations, and thus the legality of these internment camps remains in question.
Thank you, Delegate. Okay, I'm being a little lenient on time here, but as we get a couple more speeches in, I'm gonna start tightening up on that. Iraq.
The Chinese government is feeding into the fact that they think all Muslims are terrorists, and they cannot see all Uyghur Muslims as security threats, as well as this forced sterilization, the rape of women, forced IUD. It's almost a cultural genocide going on in there. It is super immoral, and it's super horrible to believe that the Chinese government would even consider doing something to innocent people.
Thank you,
I already
Delegate.
filled my time or something.
No, you don't need to yield your time for a mod caucus speech. Morocco, you are up.
The delegation of Morocco finds it alarming that people and individuals are even questioning whether or not these camps are immoral, when there is sufficient evidence that the people within these camps are suffering greatly. China's actions are not excusable or justified, because the delegation of Morocco asks what will happen when these individuals are released from these camps after suffering such long emotional and physical instability. Unless there is action taken to aid the Uyghurs, the situation will only get worse.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. Thailand.
Not only have there been reports of torture, but they've also been described as prison-like. So if we are trying to focus on the morality of these camps, I think we've already found the answer. People come out and they're saying they're tortured and they're doing things that they don't want to do. And all this because their religion is different to the Chinese. And the Chinese have often called it re-education camps and won't admit to the things that they're doing.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. Next we have DPRK.
The Chinese government is taking action to combat a credible threat to its national security. They have deemed that that most of the people in the Xinjiang, not most of the people, but the Xinjiang province has an especial threat of terrorism. They've taken action by re-educating the citizens of the Xinjiang province, allowing for a more prosperous country for all citizens.
Thank you. All right, we will now be taking the next speaker. Raise your hand in the chat, please. Iran. Iran, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. First, the morality of the internment camp is not confirmed. There have only been rumors of people who have escaped from the camps about the supposed torture in the camps. And second, I would like to remind everyone that on March 1st, 2019, the Organization for Islamic Cooperation, consisting of 57 mostly Islamic countries such as Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Palestine, and many others, commended the efforts of the People's Republic of China to providing care of its Muslim citizens. If mostly Islamic countries are supporting China, thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. My reminder, I'm sorry if I've been a little off with the speaking time. I've been giving a little lenience, but just a reminder that at 0 seconds, you guys should be finishing up your sentences, getting your speech done with. Next speaker, please raise your hand. Brazil. You have the floor.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, obviously these allegations of internment camps are horrible, and we as a delegation of Brazil strongly condemn these kinds of internment camps. However, these are right now, these are only allegations against China for these internment camps and the horrible mistreatment as the delegation of Iran so briefly mentioned. Also, I'd like to point out that there's a lot of xenophobic sentiments against the media, against China because of the coronavirus, so that's also something we should take into consideration.
Thank you, Delegate. The next speaker. India. India, whenever you're ready.
Internment camps are plainly amoral. They infringe upon the Uyghurs' basic human rights, i.e. freedom of religion, being held in servitude, and arbitrary arrest. We must take action in response to China's internment camps, as by doing nothing in response, we are actively endorsing them.
India, I think your audio cut out. Okay. Thank you, Delegate. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 more speakers. The next speaker, please raise your hand. China.
Delegation of China would like to remind fellow delegates that there are no evidence to confirm or deny the possibility of these prison-like scenarios. These camps are merely education centers and host no torture whatsoever. These are merely to raise the status of those Uyghurs and bring them out of poverty and embrace the prosperity that China has brought to the region. Thank you.
Thank you. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 speakers. We'll take 4 more. Next speaker, raise your hand. Canada.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, Canada strongly opposes these allegations. In order to confirm the truth or falsity of these allegations, Canada would like to remind everyone that if in case these allegations are true, this is an inhumane violation of human rights and should come under intense scrutiny and investigation by all countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. We have 3 more speeches for this caucus. Please raise your hand if you want to speak. We have 3 more speeches left here. And also, this is Belize. Thank you. Also, I just like to remind you that this specific subtopic was the morality of internment camps. So, in your debates, it shouldn't be about security concerns or whether or not the camps exist. Your focus should be on if they exist, is it legal? Thailand, lower your hand. We're going one at a time here. Belize, whenever you're ready.
Delegates, it's extremely clear that what we're seeing here is not only immoral, it is illegal. It does not take a very smart country to see that what China is doing is clearly illegal and unethical. And Belize believes that our debate should shift from focusing on whether or not this should occur to the fact that this should not occur. And we should take steps in order to see how we can enforce the closure of these camps immediately. It's time that we begin to start debating actual policies. It's clear that no one wants these internment camps. Let's figure out how to close them.
Thank you, Delegate. Next speaker. Just raise your hand. We have 2 more speeches left here. Iran, I'm going to wait till we get another speaker, then I'll call on you. Thailand, you had your hand up before. Do you still want to speak?
I had a point of inquiry.
Yeah, go ahead.
In what format do you pass notes to people?
In Discord. You can message people on Discord or on the Zoom chat.
Okay.
Yeah. Are there no other speakers? Okay, I guess we'll, hang on, wait, let me see. One second. Okay, so I guess we can, if nobody else wants to speak, I guess we can revert back to Iran. Give me a second. Okay, Iran, I guess you have the floor.
Thank you. The morality of the internment camps, I believe we are using the term internment camps incorrectly. They are education and vocational training centers. I aim to teach Uyghurs who have been educated in Islamic extremism about how to fit into society and to be a part of a greater society. So I believe we're using the term internment camps incorrectly. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, I know that in this topic, a lot of you are role-playing countries that have, let's say, unsavory views on the situation right now. But I know you guys might be trying to play the role of that country, but just remember that to be sensitive in the language you use to describe the Uyghurs, and let's keep that in mind. There's 1 more speaker left for this topic. Are there any speakers wishing to speak? Belize again. Okay, I'll wait till there's someone new. If not, I'll give it to Belize. Belize, if you could lower your hand, please. Okay, Austria's also spoken before. All right, if nobody else wants to speak, I'll give it to Belize. Whenever you're ready.
Austria can speak if they want, or do you want me to go?
You want to give it to Austria?
Yeah, I'll give it to Austria.
Okay. Austria.
Thank you, Delegate of Belize. In Austria's view, these internment camps are merely prisons for these Muslims who reside there because they need to open up more real estate property for the Han Chinese who are immigrating there. This region is primarily Muslim, and by taking these Muslims out of their native territory, they're only destroying the cultural and ethnic disparity in the region.
Thank you, Delegate. Okay. At this point, I'll be taking any points or motions that you may have. Please raise your hand. Thailand?
Motion for a moderated caucus for 6 minutes and 30 seconds speaking time on the roles of our countries.
Canada?
Motion for a 6 minute, 30 seconds, a moderated caucus on past explanations by China.
Thank you. Pakistan?
Motion for a moderated caucus, 7 minute, 1 minute speaking time on security concerns and anti-terrorism in Xinjiang.
And that was Pakistan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Iraq?
Motion for a 5 minute unmod.
I'm going to rule that dilatory. I want to get a couple more mods in before I do an unmod. Okay. So, all right, we will now be voting on these 3 motions. So all those in favor of Pakistan 7-1 on security concerns and anti-terrorism in Xinjiang, please raise your hands.
I count 12.
12 in favor. Okay, so we should have 16 opposed. I'm going to lower all hands. All those opposed to Pakistan 7-1 on security concerns and anti-terrorism. If you get 14 or more, I'm going to say that's good enough.
We got 7 opposed.
7 opposed. Oh my God. Okay, we're going to revote this.
Guys, committee.
We're
There
going to
were
revote.
more than 19 of us, and
Yeah.
even as spectators, we still need to vote. So we're not even going to 32 because not all of us are voting, right? But
Yeah. There are 28 delegates. We want 28 votes. That's how I want this to be. No, sorry, 27 delegates, 27 votes. Needs to be like that. Okay. All those in favor of Pakistan 7-1 on security concerns, raise your hand.
That seems to have the majority.
Have the majority? Okay. We'll take it. This motion passes. Oh, sorry, why'd I strike through this? And the other 2 will fail. Pakistan, you want to go first or last?
Last, please.
Last. Okay. We'll now be taking speakers. Let's see. DPRK, you're up. It's 1 minute. Give me a second. Let me just set the timer. All right, DPRK, whenever you're ready.
Sorry, I didn't have my hand up for speaking.
Okay. Do you have a point of inquiry? Okay, I guess not.
No.
Okay, just raise your hand up if you want to speak on 7-1 on Xinjiang on security concerns. Canada, you have the floor. Also, just before Canada goes, I'm going to be lowering all hands after each speaker. So make sure, if you want to speak, make sure to keep raising your hand when I call them. Okay, Canada, you're up.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, Canada would like to mention that the event 11 years ago, where an incident left 196 people dead, including Uyghurs and Han, was the main incident that inspired China to hold Uyghurs against their will and persecute them due to their language. However, this incident was actually caused by false testimonies of the Han Chinese depicting abuse by the Han citizens who lived in the Xinjiang area. However, these allegations were actually false after investigation, which proves that rising tensions between the Han and the Uyghurs have actually been there long before this incident happened. Because the Han is the majority, and they do not see Uyghurs.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, delegate. Okay. Next speaker wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Iran.
Thank you. I would like to point out that the TIP, which is the Turkestan Islamic Party, it have the goal of splitting Xinjiang away from China. It have links to Al Qaeda. It fought with Al Qaeda during Operation Enduring Freedom, and it carried out a suicide attack in Tiananmen Square, causing 5 deaths and 38 injuries in 2013, and also large-scale attacks between July to December 2014 that resulted in the deaths of over 183 civilians. I would also like to remind everyone that since 2014, which is when the CCP took measures to anti-terrorism, they have taken out 1,588 terrorist groups, caught roughly 13,000 terrorists, and taken out 2,052 explosive devices before they were able to be used against the population in Xinjiang. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. All those wishing to speak, please raise your hand. China. I'm lowering, give me a second, I'll lower all hands. Please, whenever you're ready.
The delegation in China would like to add on to what the delegate from Iran what that delegate of Iran said about the multiple security and terrorism concerns in China. The Chinese believe that, or the delegate from China believes that these instances are the reason why these security measures have been taken throughout Xinjiang. The delegate of China would also like to add the 200 people killed during the riots of 2009, which was the main spark of the reason why these security measures have been taken. Security cameras, Face ID, they're all needed to ensure that these instances do not occur again and that more Han or Uyghurs are not harmed in the process during these riots and during these terrorist attacks from these separatists, these outside separatists trying to divide China. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, delegate. Next speaker, please raise your hand. Iraq. Lower all hands, give me a second. Okay, whenever you're ready, Iraq.
I would like to point out that the Turkish Islamic movement that the delegation of Iran, I believe, stated, it is known that most of them are not actually terrorists, and it's just a few. And it's just showing the Islamophobic tendencies of some of these countries who are believing that all Muslims, regardless of whether or not they're actually part of the jihadi movement, are terrorists, something that sparked after things like 9/11. We can't assume that all of these Muslims are in fact terrorists, because that's just profiling and basically denying them basic human rights. You cannot deny someone rights because you think they are terrorists, nor can you say it's a security concern, because in fact you don't even know if they're terrorists, and just saying so can just have horrible effects and outcomes to these Uyghur Muslims. I yield my time.
Thank you. Next speaker. Before that, just a quick thing. Just a reminder that you should be speaking in third person, like I would say the delegation of chair would like to respond to the delegation of not chair, for example. Don't use I and we. Next speaker, please raise your hand.
Point to reply.
Yeah, point of inquiry. Oh, right to reply against the previous speech?
Against, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to rule that dilatory. Right of reply is usually used when you've been personally offended by the delegate.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Point of inquiry?
Yes, yeah.
May a delegation speak again during a moderated caucus?
If nobody else wants to speak, I will let you speak again. So lower your hand for now. Anybody new who would like to speak, please raise your hand. Uzbekistan? 1 second. Okay, Uzbekistan, whenever you're ready.
As a primarily Muslim country in Asia that is nearby to China, the delegation of Uzbekistan finds it questionable that the delegation of Iraq is claiming that people are believing that all Muslims are terrorists, which is false. And Uzbekistan, as well as other Muslim countries in the area, have reason to believe China when they are citing security concerns for what is happening within their borders. And additionally, for security, we would like to bring up that many of the surrounding countries will also be opposed to anything that Western countries may cite to be humanitarian issues and bring their own forces into, and will not get a lot of support from nearby countries, and instead will probably only incite more distrust in the region. And thus, any solutions must consider the feelings of surrounding countries as well. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. One more speaker, please raise your hand. Brazil. And then after that, it'll be Pakistan. Okay.
The delegation of Brazil would like to add on to the delegation of Iran that there have been many more instances of attacks by Uyghurs. For example, in 2012, 6 Uyghurs hijacked a plane. And also in 2012, Uyghurs in a mob attacked a local government building with knives, and that left 27 dead, as well as 2 cars in 2014 crashed through a market and explosives were tossed into the crowd, and that was 31 killed. There's many more instances, such as a knife-wielding gang attacked a police station, and that was 96 dead. So there's reason to believe why so many Uyghurs are making these attacks.
Thank you, delegate. Pakistan, you're going to be rounding us out here.
Okay. So what we're doing right now is that we're just disregarding the possibility that terrorism can exist in the Xinjiang region, and we are targeting China's right to take measures to enhance their national security, which actually is infringing on their national sovereignty. A quote from the Prince of Saudi Arabia: "We respect and support China's right to take counterterrorism and de-extremism measures to safeguard national security." And this coming from Saudi Arabia, which pretty much leads the OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperation. And adding on to what Brazil said about the missing Malaysia Airlines flight, 2 of the passengers appear to be traveling on a stolen passport, and there was no distress signal, meaning that there are actually terrorism, like incidences of terrorism that point to the Uyghurs, and there are known terrorist cells within the terrorist cells in China. And Uyghur terrorists are known to have links with Al-Qaeda. Several have been captured by U.S. forces in Afghanistan since 2002.
Thank you, delegate. Okay, this rounds it out for this mod. The chair would currently, we're not taking any new points or motions. The chair would smile upon a motion for an unmoderated caucus. Iraq.
Motion for a 5-minute unmod.
Brazil.
Motion to amend the previous statement to a 10-minute to extend.
Iraq, are you okay with that? Actually, I'm gonna change it to 2 separate motions.
Okay.
Oh wait, I was okay with that though.
No, but it's the time difference is too much. Who motioned for the 10-minute? Was it
Brazil?
Brazil. Austria.
Motion for 15-minute unmod. Yeah.
Would you go into men's at a 12? 15 is a little long.
Sure, okay.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go 112. That's a little too much. Okay, we'll go most to least disruptive. Let me lower hands. We'll start with Austria's motion for a 12-minute unmod. Please raise your hand. This is for if you're in favor of it.
I count to 11.
Okay. That's 11. So we should have about 16 opposed. I'm lowering all hands. All those opposed to Austria's 12-minute unmod.
I count 14.
14, that's close enough. I'll take it. This motion fails. Next, we have Brazil's. I'm going to lower all hands first. Now we have Brazil's motion for a 10-minute unmod.
I think the best explanation is that it's many.
I'm sorry, what?
It's more than half. It's
More
like
than half?
2/3 at least.
Sounds good. Okay, so Brazil's motion for a 10-minute unmod passes. You are not a 10-minute unmod, so you can go into the Discord, go into the voice channels, and yeah, go ham. Mute yourself on the Zoom before you go. Mute yourself on the Zoom, and then you can go ham in there. Okay. Yeah. Actually, give me a second. Let me set the timer first. All right. Your unmod begins now.
Wait.
Everybody, just a reminder, the unmod has elapsed. Please return to the Zoom. The unmod has elapsed. Please return to the Zoom. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Frank, can you go on the Discord and tell everybody that the unmod's elapsed?
Sure.
Thanks, Sam. Everybody, please leave the Discord voice chats. We are still have some people talking on them.
Okay, so there's some people in Discord, but I believe they are done talking.
Sounds good.
Okay, so.
Yeah, so Frank is going to be taking over for the rest of this session. And yeah.
All right, so I hope your unmod went well. I am now open to taking new moderated caucuses. If you'd like to raise your hand. And Azerbaijan.
Motion for a 5-minute extension of the previous unmod.
I would, I'm going to write it down, but okay. Thank you. The Gambia.
Motion for a 6:45 on what we did on unmods.
Okay. Thailand.
6:30 for potential hosting countries.
Frank, you can slow down a bit. My computer's having some trouble.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, that was Thailand, right?
Yeah, that was Thailand.
Okay.
With the mod?
Yeah.
This piece of junk.
Abhinav, do you think we should stop there and vote?
Yeah,
or
3 is good. 3 to 4.
3 is good? Okay. We will do that then. Could you lower the hands? Or do you want to make me host and I can lower the hands?
Yeah, I'll make you host for now.
Okay.
I am having some trouble with my computer here. Okay, Frank, you're a host.
Yay! Where's the lower all hands? Cool. Okay, I got it. We're going to start with the Gambias on what we did in Unmod. So if you can raise your hand if you want to vote for this moderated caucus.
Let me count.
I count 18.
Yeah, definitely a majority.
Cool. So this moderated caucus passes.
This is Gambia's.
This is the Gambia. What's the Strike through. Hold shift 5, okay. Hold shift 5. Okay. The Gambia, would you like to speak first or last?
I would like to speak first, please.
First, okay then. 1 second, please.
30 people isn't bad.
Okay, oh, it's on the next page, whatever. The Gambia, you have the floor.
Good morning, delegates. During UNMODS, the delegation of the Gambia worked with countries like Pakistan, Azerbaijan, and Iran to formulate an argument for why China needs to maintain its national sovereignty and why a foreign intrusion into China's foreign affairs isn't for the people and doesn't align with the international community's values. We urge any delegation who shares these beliefs join UNMOD number 5 and share their ideas with their bloc and continue formulating an argument for and in support of the People's Republic of China. I yield my time to the chair.
Okay, thank you. Anybody wishing to speak, you can raise your hand. Iraq.
Before I begin, I had a point of inquiry.
Okay.
So last time we did this, there was a limit on how many people could be in a block. Is that still there? And if so, how many people can be in a block?
Ian, do you want to take this one?
I can take that. So there's no limit to how many people can be in a block. There's a limit to how many sponsors you can have per resolution. So for this committee, I'd say we'd want no more than 4 resolution sponsors. But there's no limit to how big a block can be, just a limit to how many sponsors you can have.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and the sponsor limit is 4. And we want to see at least 10 signatories. So 4 sponsors, 10 signatories.
Gotcha.
And that was Iraq, right?
Yes.
And Iraq, are you going to speak as well, or was it just the point of inquiry?
I can
speak. Okay, whenever you're ready.
So the nation of Iraq and some other countries formed the bloc to talk about what we don't like that's going on in China. Basically, we are against the internment camps. If you are also against, or not internment, but the camps, if you're against it, then please join us. We're basically talking about the human rights violation and persecutions of the Uyghur Muslims, as well as any security concerns or lack of security concerns because Uyghur Muslims pose no threat. We're also talking about lack of minority representation, which can affect why the Uyghur Muslim population is being persecuted and repressed. So if you have any of these views, please join us. I yield my time.
Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak? Canada.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, the delegation of Canada worked and partnered together with delegations such as the United States and Iraq in order to come up with concerns and possible resolutions in regards to the Uyghur problem. These concerns include, but are not limited to, human rights violations and persecution of Uyghurs, as long as minority underrepresentation, which can pose for threats of violence. And in order to subjugate these representation issues, we will come up with concerns in order to help diminish the violence. I yield the rest of my time.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker, Brazil.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, so our bloc initially consisted of people who were from the bloc that contained Pakistan, Azerbaijan, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, and the Gambia and other countries like that, but we eventually branched off and we had our own debates. In general, we talked about the issues of national sovereignty, not unlike the Gambia's bloc. We also brought up whether we were also debating whether there should be any investigation in China, or basically our bloc had a lot of had some differing perspectives and views on it. So if you wish to discuss these issues further, then you can come join Channel 6 during Unmod.
Thank you. So that's 4. We have 4 more speakers. The Central African Republic.
The delegation of the Central African Republic, along with other countries such as the Federated States of Micronesia, discussed many issues on how to first solve this issue. The first thing that we must do, of course, is to get to China to acknowledge that they were responsible for what has come upon the Uyghurs. As of right now, we've seen, especially through the delegation of China, that they've shown that they don't even acknowledge that it's even happening at all. And that's the first step. Secondly, I do agree with other countries that it is not a wise decision to push force and to force them to admit things such as this. So we believe that it is appropriate to have minor consequences, including things such as sanctions and other diplomatic forms, instead of forcing investigations and punishing China by sending military.
Thank you. The Federated States of Micronesia. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. The delegation of the Federated States of Micronesia appreciates the Central African Republic for announcing our idea in our blog to make sure that these camps are no longer in China. Something that I've noticed in these other countries that are participating with China is that they often claim that these camps are not existing. However, sources such as the Council of Foreign Affairs, Reuters, and AP News all confirm that these camps exist, and we propose that we should get non-governmental organizations into these countries to make sure that these Muslims are taken care of by taking funds from global pool funds based on GDP. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak, please raise your hand. The United States, you have the floor.
So in Unmod, we basically created a block in order to counter China's ambitions of basically concentrating the Uyghurs. Let's remind what this organization was made to do. How can you prevent it? You cannot prevent the persecution of an ethnic group without violating national sovereignty. How is it possible? So we created a block to basically back up kind of an anti-China argument, but at the same time creating constructive debate around the topic, but also condemning China's persecution of Uyghur Muslims. We should not look back 20 years from now on this moment and think of its problems like we do of the Rwandan genocide.
Okay, thank you, United States. We have one last speaker. Can you please raise your hand if you wish to speak? Iran, you have the floor.
During the Ahmad, Iran worked with China, DPRK, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, and Azerbaijan on the issue of Uyghur Muslims in China. We are deeply concerned about the security issue in the area. That we acknowledge the Chinese government does acknowledge the existence of the camps, but does not believe that there is a human right violation inside the camps. And we also recognize the security concerns in Xinjiang and believe that it is for the good of the entire Xinjiang region and China economically and in security to eradicate Islam, to de-radicalize the Uyghurs, potential terrorists in Xinjiang.
Okay, thank you. We have this moderated caucus has expired. If there's anybody wishing to present a new moderated caucus, you can raise your hand. Canada.
Motion for a 5-minute, 30-second moderated caucus on past international action.
Brazil.
Motion for a 6-minute moderated caucus with 1 minute speaking time about the media coverage concerning the Uyghur crisis.
Okay. Central African Republic.
A motion for a 4:30 on consequences for China.
Okay, and we're going to stop there. So,
Yeah, actually, before we begin, I know a lot of this debate has just been really focused on China. Like, people, there've been some comments about how Uyghurs are terrorists and stuff like, and China's security concerns and stuff like that. I just want to reiterate again, and we're trying to make this as realistic as possible. I understand that, but there definitely needs to be some sensitivity regarding the topic. After it is a very serious issue, so if demeaning comments about the Uyghurs, like, oh, they're terrorists, they deserve to be like in camps to re-educate themselves. If you could please like show some sensitivity around that. I get it, there are going to be countries that will support what China is doing, but try to be more sensitive about the way you express that. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do I go with Canada's first because it's 10 speakers, or Brazil's because it's 6 minutes?
You go by length. You go by length first.
So it'll be Brazil's first.
Yes.
Okay. Then we're going to vote on Brazil's 6 minutes one speaking on media about the Uyghur crisis. If you're voting for, please raise your hand now. What's this, like 8? I think it's 7. Okay. And we're going to lower your hands. You're voting.
This was Canada's, right?
This was Brazil's.
Brazil's, thank you.
Brazil's, yes. And if you're voting against, please raise your hand. Okay, that is a majority. So we will now move on to Canada's. You're voting for. Can you please raise your hand now? Nine. Okay. I'm going to lower your hands. If you're voting against, can you please raise your hand now?
I got 13 against.
Okay. That doesn't add up, but it is more against than for. So should we just move on? Or should we
I could
recount?
take a revote. Take a revote.
We'll revote? Okay.
Yeah.
If you're voting for the 5 minutes and 30-second speaking time on past international actions proposed by Canada, can you please raise your hand? $16.
16. Is that a 4? So that means it passes.
Okay, so this passes.
And the other one was Central African Republic.
Well, hold on. If Canada's passed, then we don't vote on.
Yeah, no, but I was just making sure that.
Oh, yes. Central African
Okay,
Republic.
Yeah, just
Yes.
for tallies. Okay.
Okay. Canada, would you like to speak first or last?
I would like to speak first.
Okay, that is in order. And it is 30 seconds, so I'll fix this. You have the floor.
Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates, the delegation of Canada would like to remind everyone that originally China denied all allegations of internment camps and said that these allegations are false and do not exist. However, after encountering further scrutiny by countries, China has changed its narrative to being re-education camps in regards to terrorism. So the delegation of Canada would like to remind everyone of that.
Okay, thank you. Anybody wishing to speak, can you please raise your hand now? Austria, you have the floor.
Delegates. The delegation of Austria would like to remind delegates that past international actions have been made, but none are come to full solution except mandatory action by specific states, as for example, United States sanctions against China signed by President Trump in 2019, and also past papers written by signatories to UNHCR. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak, could you please raise your hand? China, you have the floor.
Fellow delegates and esteemed chair, the delegation of China would like to remind fellow delegates of letters signed by 50 ambassadors from the UN, which declared support for China, which included in these ambassadors was Iraq, who supported China's position on their actions towards Uyghurs in the region. Thank you. I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak, you can raise your hand. The United States, you have the floor. United States, you have the floor.
China speaks of actions taken by 15 delegates in support of China. But that is because many of these countries have close ties with China due to its economic initiatives. Due to things like this, China has extraordinary influence, but many of the people supporting it are not genuine. They're just parts of their economic initiatives. We believe that the UN was created to prevent crises like this and not to support them.
You can stop now. Okay. Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak? Pakistan.
Thank you. So I just wanted to remind everybody that everyone who is so against China are like developed countries like US, Canada, and Austria who have nothing to lose. So let me just remind you all of the importance of China. Like if the BRI goes down, so do all of your economies.
Thank you. Just a reminder that we try to avoid using personal pronouns, but that is okay. Anybody wishing to speak? Morocco.
The delegation of Morocco would like to remind the delegation of China that in addition to it being a very crucial part of many countries' economies that may require their assistance, a position or stance can also be revoked and changed.
Thank you, Morocco. Anybody wishing to speak? Since we have 4 more speakers. Iran.
Thank you. Iran would like to remind the General Assembly that the 22 countries that are against China's actions in Xinjiang are mostly Western Christian countries, and the countries that are in support of China's actions in Xinjiang are mostly Middle Eastern Islamic countries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody wishing to speak? Micronesia.
No, my camera doesn't really work, so they can't see stuff. So they can't really see. All they see is like a green Spider-Man illusion of me.
Yeah, United States. Could you mute, please? Thank you. Micronesia, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Firstly, I would like to respond to Pakistan's claim that the U.S. is in support of the U.S. is support just because
Hold on. Let's stop for a second.
Micronesia. We're gonna stop and let's get a. Frank, can you mute everybody first? Thank you.
Okay. Micronesia. Because we didn't hear what you said, you're going to receive your 30 seconds again. You have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Chair. So firstly, I'd like to respond to Pakistan's claim that all the countries that are against China are developed. Micronesia is one such example, and we would like to claim that the focus is not actually on economy, but on morality. And we've talked about morality in the past few mods, so we would like to remind everyone that the focus here is not to on the economical issues, but instead on the issues that go around morality. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak? Sure. Uzbekistan.
The delegation of Uzbekistan would like to reply to the nation of Micronesia by saying that as much as everybody wants to care about morality and we want to help all of the humanitarian concerns that exist, there are also individual countries' own issues that are supported by these such financial and economical issues, and thus these two are very closely tied, and we cannot simply just cut off such relations for just the sake of morality for people that are not our own citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe we're on our last speaker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, this is our last speaker. Since broken recently. DPRK, you have the floor.
I would like to commend the previous speaker and add on that countries such as Iraq have systematically oppressed minorities in their borders, like the Kurds, leaving them to not have a state and living in a state of limbo where they're neither part of, they're part of no recognized country. These oppression like this is why countries like Iraq and other countries can't get on their high horse about situations that are uncorroborated in states such as China.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if we have a person in the waiting room.
Who is it?
It is Luke Lee.
Yeah, you can allow him to come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, it's 11:30. What's this person been doing?
It's a good question. All right.
Sounds like a question for Ian. Anyways, the floor is now open for new motions. If anyone would like to submit a motion. Parth, why are you raising your hand? Do you need to say something, Parth? No? Okay. Austria.
Motion for minute unmod.
Sorry, how many minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. 1 minute is the last
Austria?
one. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Swaziland. Yes? No?
Sorry, I forgot to lower my hand.
Okay. Oh, okay. Brazil.
Motion for a 5-minute moderated caucus with 30-second speaking time about media coverage of the Uyghur crisis.
Okay. On media. What's this in chat? And we'll do one more from Belize.
I motion for a 6:45 on concrete solutions to tackle this crisis.
Solutions. Okay. So we're going to start with the 10-minute unmoderated caucus. If you're voting for the unmod, please raise your... Actually, hold on. Wait, don't raise it. Okay, please raise your hands now. I count 13. Is that what you got?
Yeah, I got 13 as well.
13? Okay. If you're voting against the... Hold on. If you're voting against the unmod, please raise your hand now. Guys. 8, okay. 9, 10, 11, 12. You guys done?
I got 12.
I got 12 as well. So we have 13 for and 12 against. That's 25.
Go for a revote. Go for a revote.
Yeah. Okay. Will do. If you're voting for the 10-minute unmod proposed by Austria, please raise your hand now. Now I count 17. Bruh, you guys be changing your mind in between revotes. Okay. I count 17. Abhinav, is that what you got?
Yeah, I got 17 too.
You got 17? Okay. So this passes. We are now in an unmoderated caucus. You can join Discord. Okay, guys, that is the end of our 10-minute unmoderated caucus. If you could all please come back out of Discord and rejoin the Zoom meeting, or just come back to the Zoom meeting and leave Discord, then we can get going again.
Okay, everybody, we're back on the Zoom. We are back on the Zoom.
Okay. Okay. I think I am ready.
Okay, yeah. I've been going through the Discord channels, getting everybody out. I think, yeah, the Discord channels are empty. We're all set.
So we're good?
Yeah, we're good.
I'm getting an echo, though. Okay, you're ready now. So as the end of our unmod, the chair would smile upon a moderated caucus to discuss where each of your blocks is leading towards, like what are the solutions that you're actually pushing forward. Because we are now in the last hour of our first committee session. So if you want to propose a mod, please raise your hand. Georgia.
Motion for a 10-minute unmod discussing the previous unmod.
Hold on. A 10-minute unmod discussing. Do you mean a 10-minute mod up on the topic of unmod?
Oh yeah, 10-minute mod discussing the previous.
Okay, got it. So a 10 with like 1 minute speaking time.
Whose is this?
This is Georgia.
Georgia, thank you.
And Georgia, do you have a speaking time?
Yeah, 1 minute. 1 minute speaking time.
Thank you, Georgia. Canada.
Motion for a 6-minute 45-second unmod on mod on what we discussed during unmods.
Okay, 6:45. Thank you. Anybody else? Nope, that's all. Okay. Oh, Brazil? No? Maybe?
Motion. Oh, wait, never mind. Sorry.
Okay. Then we will vote on Georgia's moderated caucus first. This is a 10-minute with 1 minute speaking time discussing the previous unmod, and I'm hoping also the solutions that you've come up with. If you are voting for, please raise your hand now.
FBN. I got 10.
Okay, I got 10 as well. And I'm going to lower your hands. If you're voting against this mod, please raise your hand
17.
now. Count 11.
So do I.
No, guys, come on. It's like
we
the
have
third
10
time.
people who didn't vote.
It's like the third time today. No, we had 6 people who didn't vote, right?
27, no, 17 out of 27. Whatever, the point is, a lot of you aren't voting, you should be voting.
Okay, so we're going to do a recap. This is great for committee sessions, you guys. Like, if you're voting for the 10-minute moderated caucus with a 1 minute speaking time about discussing the unmods proposed by Georgia, please raise your hand now. 9, 10.
10.
10 voting for, okay? I'd like to lower your hands. If you're voting against this moderated caucus, can you please raise your hand now? It's 11. Bruh. Raise your hand if you voted. And if you didn't vote, like.
All right, you know what? I think, what was the final vote on this? 10, 11?
Yeah, it was 10, 11.
All right, let's just fail it.
Okay.
Guys, just so you know, we're keeping track on who's voting or not, so please vote. We know who you are if you're not voting. Okay.
Okay. And that brings us to the second proposed moderated caucus. This is 6 minutes with 45 seconds speaking time discussing the unmod proposed by Canada. If you're voting for, please raise your hand now. It's more than like 18.
Yeah.
So exactly. it's uncountable. Okay. Canada, would you like to speak first or last?
I would like to speak last.
Last. Okay. Then I'm going to lower your hands. If you Abhinav?
Yes.
Xian Ganguly is in the waiting room.
Let him in.
It's literally 11:50. Whatever. If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand. Belize, hold on 1 second. Belize, you have the floor.
Delegates, one solution that wasn't proposed in UNMOD yet is what the Belize believes is the optimal solution towards this crisis, and that is to bring the Kuomintang Party of Taiwan back into power to help restore the rightful and legitimate government of China. We urge countries to join us in recognizing the legitimacy of the government of Taiwan and to help remove the illegitimate government of the Chinese Communist Party. And the reason for doing this is Taiwan's government is far more humane and cooperative than the current Chinese Communist Party. And so by recognizing Taiwan as the one true China, we can usher this world into a new era of peace and prosperity where China actually cooperates with the rest of the international community. The Taiwanese government would not allow these concentration camps to continue. And by recognizing Taiwan as the legitimate and rightful government of China, we can help end not only this issue, but far more issues that currently face the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak, you may raise your hand now. Come one, come all. It's literally one person. All right. United States, you have the floor.
I disagree with Belize's opinion that we need to recognize Taiwan as the legitimate government of China, because even if you diplomatically recognize Taiwan as the legitimate government of China, that won't work militarily. Militarily, the People's Republic of China will still have control of everything, and you can't really invade them because they have nuclear weapons. Secondly, you talked about sanctions. You talked about sanctions on China and the possibility of trying to economically strain China so that China cooperates, and other such things which do not do anything militarily, but instead economically strain China so that we can reach a more better resolution.
Okay, thank you, United States. Anybody wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Pakistan.
Hi, so during UNMOD, we just discussed about how we need to recognize that China is a sovereign country and it deserves to have a chance at providing national security to its citizens, just like all countries, including US, Belize, everyone who just spoke right now. Also, like having Taiwan be the legitimate government, we can't like there's nothing wrong with the Chinese Communist Party and what it's doing right now, and also economically straining it is just not realistic, considering China's role on the world's economy.
Okay. I think my headphones just died. Anyways. Thank you, Pakistan.
Can I point of order?
Okay.
Right now, are the delegates speaking about what we discussed during UNMOD instead of
Yeah, I was just about to make a point on that. After Belize's speech about making Taiwan the government, we seem to have been getting a bit sidetracked, and we're now just denying that statement. So can we all please try to remember that we were talking about what you actually discussed in UNMOD, and what are the proposed solutions that you have to the crisis? Thank you. Thank you, Canada. So we have 4 more. If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand. Iran.
During the UNMOD, Iran discussed with China, DPRK, Pakistan, and many others about the need to maintain the state of neutrality toward the status of Uyghur Muslims in China, the need to open dialogue between the Chinese government and the international communities, and we discussed about the need to call upon the international community to assist China in de-radicalization and anti-terrorism efforts inside and in regions around Xinjiang. We believe that only these efforts would decrease the incentive of China to implement the education camps. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wishing to speak, you may raise your hand now. Anybody? Anybody?
Frank, if we don't get anybody, feel free to call on people.
Feel free to call on people. Oh, man, I get executive power. All right. Here we go. You're not going to know what hit you. Okay, hold on. Find it. Anybody want to talk? No? Nobody. How about...
actually, Frank, give it a second. I think some people are going to raise their hands.
Okay, people like writing a speech? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got time. If I just call it a country that's not present, how about that?
Okay, Frank, go ahead and call on someone.
Okay. How about, and I'll give you the choice to say, like, to explicitly say no this one time, but if I'm calling you again, then like talk, okay? How about, oh wait, we have a raised hand.
Great, go for them.
Point of inquiry.
Okay, yeah.
Would the chair smile upon multiple blocks or 2 large blocks?
We don't care either way. I'd say we don't want any more than 3 or 4 resolutions.
We'd prefer multiple blocks rather than 2 large blocks.
At the same time, we don't want like a bunch of 3-person, 4-person blocks. We want 3 to 4 resolutions would be the sweet spot. Yeah, Frank, continue.
The issue with the 2-person block is that people tend to take it really competitively. And so I would smile upon a 3 blocks. But again, that comes up to committee. You guys
To
can do
sum
what
up,
you want.
yeah.
So,
Sum up, we want some diversity.
yes. How about Kazakhstan? Do you want to talk? Is Kazakhstan even present?
I'll check this out.
Yeah, they are. They are.
They're present. Okay. Kazakhstan.
Oh,
Would you
sorry.
Would you like to speak on the topic?
Oh, can I speak next time, please?
Okay, you're going to be the next speaker then. How about, I don't even know how to say this, Mauritius? Mauritius?
Mauritius.
Mauritius. Thanks, Abhinav.
Gotcha.
Mauritius, would you like to speak? Oh, Mauritius isn't even present. Oh, what the heck?
No, they're present on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, but they're not in the Zoom.
You go with the next one.
Moldova.
Not this time.
Point of inquiry.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there is no more speakers on this topic, can we just exhaust the moderated caucus and go into something else?
At the current rate, it's probably exhausted.
Let's
just from time passing.
Just go back to speakers list.
Yeah, Frank, gonna do that?
Or point of motion.
Wait, Azerbaijan, do you want to, because you have your hand raised, do you want to speak?
Sure.
You do want to speak. Yay!
Okay.
Okay. You might, well, then we'll give it to Canada because they're last. And then we may go to the speakers list. Okay. Whenever you're ready, you have the floor.
All right. The delegation of Azerbaijan, along with delegations such as Georgia, the DPRK, and Kazakhstan, have discussed a solution that transcends the pro-China and anti-China blocs. The UN's purpose is to bring about a better world, and we believe that this will be much better done by overlooking this current issue and instead making an effort to move our population to Mars. By moving our population to Mars, we will not only be solving this territorial issue, but also bringing about a better future for the entire world. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just gonna intervene here. Sorry, Frank.
Well, hold on. What you?
I think you're gonna say it yourself. Go ahead, say it.
No, you say it.
Okay. If your speech isn't explicitly relevant to the Uyghur crisis, please don't make a joke speech. It's not.
Was that speech written by Ian? Was it?
No.
No. Okay. Is there anybody else who would want to speak before Canada?
With a relevant speech.
Yes, please. No. Okay, Canada. You have the floor.
The delegation of Canada would like to address the resolutions that we came up with during UNMOD. These include long-term and short-term goals, including funding NGOs, investigations into China, and also solutions to the underrepresentation of Uyghurs and the persecution due to their religion. And this could be solved by implementing a program where Muslim countries educate and dissuade against religious persecution of minorities in China due to the Islamic religion being a minority.
Okay, thank you. Should we go to the speakers list or should I accept new motions?
Except if there's nothing to go to speakers list.
Okay. Actually, I guess I should check. Does anybody else want to speak or no?
No, just get rid of this.
Okay. Then we are accepting new motions. If you have a motion, please raise your hand now. Brazil.
Motion for 6-minute moderated caucus with 1 minute speaking time about the different blocks in this committee and how they.
So, okay, thank you. And Georgia.
A motion for a 10-minute unmod.
How much time do we have? We have 24 minutes remaining in session. Any other motions? Okay, seeing none, we're going to vote. We're going to start with the 10-minute unmod proposed by Georgia. Please vote. If you'd like to vote for, please raise your hand now. I count 18, 19.
Yes.
Okay, this passes. And we have a 10 minutes. Okay, your unmoderated caucus begins now. Okay, guys, our unmoderated caucus has expired. If you could all rejoin Zoom and leave Discord, that would be great.
Just a reminder that this is a UNHCR committee, so make sure your solutions fall within the charter of the UNHCR.
Is everybody off of Discord? How about that? Ian or Abhinav, can you go through and check to make sure that people are off of Discord? We good? Cool, thank you. And also in the waiting room, we have Thomas Yu. Should they be admitted or?
Yeah, I can confirm he's good, but he might not talk because he just had his wisdom teeth removed.
Oh, great. Okay, did he just leave? Oh my God, I was literally about to
Yeah, he
click on
does.
him,
He was
and he
assigned
just
to
left. Okay, so we have 10 minutes remaining in our first committee session. The chair would smile upon 2 moderated caucuses, short ones, I think. So, as opposed to 1 long one. So if anybody would, oh my goodness. Okay. The Democratic Republic of the Congo. Would you like to present your...
No.
No? Okay. Okay, well, this is too many. I don't even know if these people had their hands up before. So if you'd like to, I've just lowered everybody's hands. If you would like to propose a moderated caucus, can you please raise your hand? Oh, wow, it was that many. Jesus. Okay. The Gambia.
Motion for a 10-1 on resolutions. As in, like, what's the state?
10-1. Okay, so that's going to finish us off. The Gambia. Okay. And that is Georgia.
10-1 on country policy.
Said 2 short ones. Whatever. It's fine. Anybody else? Brazil. Brazil. Okay. Iran.
6:45 discussing on mod.
6:45. Discussing on mod. Which was this again?
Iran.
Iran. Okay. We're going to start with the Gambias. This is a 10-1 on resolutions. I'm going to lower everyone's hands. If you would like to vote for, please raise your hand now. It counts 8. Okay. If you'd like to vote against, please raise your hand now. Okay, there are more against than for, so we're just going to leave it at that. Moving on to Georgia. If you would like, this is a 10-1 on country policy. Actually, it's no longer 10-1, it's more like an 8-1 on country policy because of time. If you'd like to vote for, please raise your hand now. Just amending these as we go. This was a 10-1, this is now an 8-1. Okay. If you would like to vote against, can you please raise your hand now? Okay, that's way more. Okay, which takes us to the 6:45 on discussing the unmod by Iran. Lower your hands. If you would like to vote for, can you please raise your hand now? $14, $15. Okay, this passes. Iran, would you like to speak first or last?
I will speak first.
First. Okay. You have the floor whenever you're ready.
Thank you. During the unmoderated session, we elaborated on what we have said before about calling on the international community to assist in de-radicalization, opening dialogue between Chinese government and Chinese government and the international community about the status of Uyghur Muslim and maintaining its state of neutrality. We also emphasized the countries that supported the People's Republic of China's providing care to its Muslim citizens. And then we have recognized that other methods of sanitization, such as the establishment of the XPCC and urbanization, have not been very effective in reducing terrorist activities. Throughout all these, we recognize that perhaps that the education camps are justified and that they are the best way to prevent terrorism. Thank you.
Thank you. And you guys already had your hands raised. This is cheating. Okay, if you'd like to speak, can you raise your hand? And Shion, can you change your name to your country name, please? India.
I don't think I had my hand raised. Sorry.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to redo it then. If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand. It's literally one. All right. Austria. You have the floor.
Delegates during the unmod, we the bloc, including the Federated States of Micronesia and Belize, come up with specific solutions that are concrete and substantial and providing actions within the framework. The UNHCR, first, we address sanctions. Sanctions are based on fundamental structure that the United States took. Second, we talked about refugees, and how we need to limit the amount of refugees and stateless people and confine them to within China, which is their native territory, because then we do not need to worry about any external problems, including.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Georgia, you're next.
So during the previous unmod, the delegation of Georgia, along with Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, and many other countries came together and discussed the mistreatment of Uyghur Muslims by China. And we have come to an agreement that China has taken one step too far. As a longtime economic and political partner of China, despite our long-lasting political ties, I have no choice but to denounce China's actions for the genocide of Uyghur Muslims. We stand in solidarity and denounce China's actions and will not hesitate to vote on any resolution denouncing China.
Okay, thank you. Abhinav, I know we still have more speakers, but do you need to make any announcements before the lunch begins? Like Abhinav or Ian or Parth?
Finish the mod and then we'll close.
And we'll close. All right. Next speaker is going to be the Gambia.
The delegation of Gambia first commends the Speaker of Iran for pointing out the importance of maintaining neutrality in this current affair. During unmoderated caucus, my bloc, group number 5, which consists of Iran, China, and a few other countries, continued to draft their resolution, maintaining its status of neutrality and creating funds to establish volunteer programs and trust funds. I also met with block number 6, and we agreed that a stance of neutrality was really important in dealing with the current situation. So if you're interested in either of these blocks, we highly encourage you to come to group number 5 or group number 6 to continue talking about a resolution or get a closer look.
Okay, so we have a minute till lunch. I'm gonna take one more, and then we're gonna stop there, and then do announcements and stuff. So with the last speaker, lower all your hands. The last speaker, you can raise your hand now. Belize.
Delegates, Belize overwhelmingly rejects the idea that we can or should be neutral in this debate. In this situation right now, it is clear that we have clear evidence that China is abusing its power and is directly harming its citizens by establishing these concentration camps. And by remaining neutral in this situation as the UNHCR would be a huge mistake. As the UNHCR, we have an obligation and a responsibility to help these affected individuals, and we absolutely cannot remain complicit or neutral in this debate. Therefore, recognizing that some of the countries here have already been influenced by these Chinese politics in order to remain neutral or to remain defensive on their side, Belize strongly urges the remaining free countries that are free from influence from China to step forward and pass a strong resolution to condemn China's actions here and not remain neutral in order to help the people that need it most. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. By chair's discretion, the motion to suspend debate has passed. So, Abhinav, do you need to make any announcements?
Cool. So we're gonna start. Oh, hold up. We're gonna start back up again at 1 p.m. So currently it's our lunch break. So for the next half hour, just mute and turn off your video, or you can leave the call. Just make sure you come back at least 5 minutes before debate starts. And yeah, thank you guys so much.